Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Johnny and I got to check out, dude, this is a game that we actually discovered at PAX a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And we actually got a chance to play it this week. They sent us a demo and, well, they sent us the proper version. And, dude, I think it's safe to say I had a good time. Your experience, similar, I hope?
Yeah, it is a very good time. So Slime Song is probably like take Super Meat Boy and just add way more weirdness in a game. You know, Super Meat Boy is already like a weird thing. You're playing as a meat and you're sliding around the walls.
Well,
and
as a
stuff
guy
like
with
that.
no skin, how weird could that be?
But now you're a slime and you're swallowed by a worm and you're in its like intestinal tract.
Well,
and
that sounds like a Full House script adapted for then pixelated. I don't see what's weird about that at all. No, if anyone's unfamiliar, we're talking about a game called Slime Song with Johnny. He's correct. You play basically like a very large booger. It's just he's just, you play a bit of slime that's ingested by a worm, and the entire game takes place in this worm's intestine inside his body.
Just like real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You've been swallowed. You have to try to get out. That's the basic crux of it.
And it's a collection of levels, and I think every 4 levels is kind of like a chapter, and there are tons and tons of levels in this game.
Yes, there are.
I went through probably 30 to 40 levels, and there was still like way more left to do, and there's boss battles, and there is like this city of weird NPCs that are inside.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like. There's like you come across societies of other things that this giant worm has swallowed. This giant gargantuan, extra hungry Galactus-esque worm has swallowed. And while you're trying to get out and save yourself and live your life, they've just resigned themselves to this is our fate now. We just live here. And they've set up shop. They've built homes. They've built cities. They've built casinos for themselves.
Is the exit where I think it would be on the worm?
No.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Well, that's what's weird. Okay, this is the thing that I actually got from the game, and I'm just like,
The worm
okay, this is a
anatomy
logistics
was what
problem.
was weird.
The worm anatomy, yeah, it was a little bit off from my own home study. No, it's like you get swallowed by the worm. That's when you start the game, but you start off at the very back, which poses 2 questions. One,
How'd you get there?
exactly, what kind of like warp tunnel exists in this dude's tonsils? And 2, it's not the prettiest way, but you're trying to get out. You're right by an exit. I'm just saying.
If you wanted it bad enough, you
Yeah.
could have figured it out.
You suck it up, and you. Well, anyways, so John, like you mentioned, also it's a platformer. We mentioned Super Meat Boy. To anyone who's not familiar, Super Meat Boy is a platformer, but also a notoriously complex,
Yeah.
and unforgiving platformer.
I was bad at it.
A very high twitch, high skill, fast. Actually, this one almost seems like it's faster paced than Super Meat Boy. When you're not holding down that morph button to sort of slow down time.
Yeah, that's an element I really liked. It uses the environments. Not a lot of platform games use their environments other than making them an obstacle. This, you use your environments kind of as a tool. There's the green, I guess like phased platforms and the red ones, and you can use those by phasing through and then blocking at different points and using those to solve puzzles, collect apples, etc. And it added an extra element that you don't normally find in most platforms.
Yeah, it's part of the challenge is knowing when you need to go, I guess, like pseudo slime invisible in order to pass through these green barriers.
I am a hunk of snot with phasing abilities, sir. I am the next level.
And then at other moments you wanna reappear as a slime and be able to wall slide against these barriers, and there's a very fine balance that you need to ride out with that by switching between those 2 things. Also dashing in the air, on the ground, in order to avoid enemies. So
okay, that was kind of a pain in the ass to get the hang of, though. One thing I started playing this, it was very reminiscent of Mega Man to me, and that was the thing that like got me there because I love the Mega Man series, and this was my primary experience with platformers. Was like I have the basics down, I've got this, and this operates this way, and then the concept of jumping and air dashing. It's like a different skill you have, but relearning that added another level of complexity to me. And I don't want to make it, there was a very complex thing. It was hard as balls.
Yeah.
But that took a little adjusting to. That kind of affected my appreciation of the game.
Oh, it definitely takes a while to get used to it. It's because the game itself requires a high level of skill that the
game itself requires a high level of patience.
Well, yeah. So you have to like constantly like switch, and it kind of like the difficulties, kind of hitting you pretty hard right up front. And I didn't even get used to it yet. I was kind of fumbling because you get pressed pretty hard fairly quickly in order to be able to know when to dash through things and when to like phase dash through things and when to let go of your,
when to fling some of your
when to
snot at somebody
unmorph and
because
remorph.
they got in your face.
Yeah.
When to
yeah.
okay, now also I was a little perturbed. What happened to my pop filter? I'm sitting here. I was a little upset at some of the specific missions, things you have to accomplish for people when you bump into them, because it seemed like they were taking me out of my way, and had those been optional missions, rather than have it be a straightforward game, that actually would have, I think, added more to the experience. If they made it kind of like an RPG, added an RPG element to that.
Right. It was.
It's linear, is what I'm saying, and that was a pain in the ass.
It is the linear thing, but at any moment when you are done with a 4-level chunk, you can go back to like the hub, and run around the city and sort of do things within there, and you can. So as you're playing through the levels, you can collect this green heart currency.
The apples, you mean?
Oh, it's apples.
They were apples, yeah.
Never mind.
You of all people with the cheesy apples.
I saw it. I don't know why hearts came into play, but yeah, it was these green apples.
These green snot hearts, yes.
Yeah, makes sense for being inside
green
of a worm.
Gack hearts.
And then you can spend these apples on different kinds of abilities. Not necessarily abilities, but different characters that play differently. You can also get cosmetic stuff. You have like a little bird that is flying around you. I don't know what that bird is for, but you can dress it up.
I thought it was like a mascot or something, because you see him in the like in the end screens. Yeah. Yeah. So I thought it was just there like what's his name from Zelda?
Like Navi?
Oh, yeah, like Navi, like Tattle and Tail. Yeah.
Listen. People like turn this thing off.
The bird was very quiet there. I don't
yeah, no, I appreciate the hell out of that too. I met the developer. I met the dude Fabian at PAX.
Yeah, he was super chill. I played that game like 6 times at PAX, but I just unfortunately didn't have time to join y'all on the playing it now.
I remember.
But I spent a lot of time at PAX with that game. It was wonderful.
So I just like to rub it in and say the game was awesome.
I look forward to playing it in my
I've never
leisure
had such an
time that I
enriching
hear
experience in my
exists
life.
sometime in
It may have changed me as a
future.
gamer.
And the artwork is a lot like a game I played, I don't know, maybe like half a year ago, Downwell?
Downwell, I remember that, yeah.
And the artwork is almost exactly the same. It's like a higher quality NES pixel art. And by higher quality,
it's like a lower quality Marble Madness.
Well, I love its. I like one of the things that really struck me about it was its limited color palette, which is something I really enjoyed. It kind of, I think it was like light blue, green, pink, and black, and didn't really have anything else.
It's very soothing to the eye.
and it's very bright. It's very like neon.
It's very
colors.
neon colors. It has a kind of like almost just actual like neon signage quality to it, and so many games I think would have been compelled to make it a full color game and have almost too much going on, and it was busy to me in a good way, that it had the bright enticing colors, but it never really felt like, oh my god, what am I looking at? I can't figure out what's going on the screen.
Well, this was they used it very well in my opinion, just because since color plays part of your actual gameplay mechanic, keeping it within those due bounds.
Yeah, that's what I mean by like the limited color palette, where it had these very, very bright colors, but only a handful of them.
Yeah, honestly, green was yourself. Green was the slime, which is good. Yeah, the red, which is, I don't know what the red was.
The red was everything bad. The red is the stomach acid that kills you. The red is those platforms that kill you. The red is those spikes. The red is those corrosives. The red is everything that wants you dead.
Those weird creature things that fly and crawl.
Yeah.
So yeah, anything red.
The red is the tape
dead.
that you have to file papers through to get your taxes and government cheese. Yeah.
And then I think like variations of blue and gray were just like platforms or ground that you can stand on.
Dude,
so
besides the difficulty, and there's not really much bad I can say about this. The design was awesome. It was fun to play even after 20 plus levels. It never got stale. The levels are very intricate. And I don't see how they could possibly do a Slime Son 2. There's no sequels here. I think they pretty much shot their wad and now they need a nap. But this was like one hell of a first effort.
It's kind of like they took Super Meat Boy and Mario Galaxy 2, where Mario Galaxy 2 just threw brand new, like, weird, interesting gameplay mechanics at you for, like, just one level, and then that was it. And that's in this game. Like, every set of 4 levels is, like, this new idea, this new gameplay idea. And then they throw it away, and then they introduce something new at the next set of 4 levels. And the very first stage of that 4-level chunk is always going to be like the introduction of what the new gameplay mechanic is. And then they just crank up the difficulty harder and harder. And then by the end of the 4th one, you're like, yeah, that was really fun. So, and then they change it on you.
Yeah, no, I got you. So basically, according to Johnny, so it's like, they gave you ice cream and pizza, and on top of that, took you to, like, Dave and Buster's, and they threw that out the window, and then, like, they gave you blowjobs and resurrecting your dead grandma, and then took you on your on your 9th birthday again. Like, what, really? Okay, So I'm assuming you liked it.
I think we both liked it.
Yeah, I did. This is like, I thought it was a very challenging game, but I enjoyed it. You're like, oh my god, it'll change your.
No,
dude,
it was just the gameplay changed.
I'm messing with you, man. I know.
See, this is why I couldn't give a review it, because it would just be me saying the word slime for 10 minutes.
Yes, no, that's true. I kind of wanted that interjected.
Yeah.
We'll edit
slime,
that.
slime.
There you go. It's like over in the corner chanting
Slime.
I got slimed once.
People on the
At the
video
Nickelodeon
can't see
studio?
everything, but this is...
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
No,
Wow.
really?
I was a very little kid.
I don't like the consistency of that one.
The Nickelodeon GAC slime there?
It has oatmeal in it, and I'm not here for it. Although slime is in right now. Go to Michael's. It's the slime center.
Yes.
Really?
That's the
Really?
latest DIY craft is DIY slime.
We do not speak disparagingly
end?
of slime here.
To have slime.
Yeah,
Like
to
to
have...
play with?
So
Yeah.
step 1, you want slime, and step 2 is you make slime, and then you enjoy slime.
And then if you're the parents, you clean up the slime that your children have spread all over them.
Yeah, we did horrible things in the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, we actually talked about 90s nostalgia earlier. Let's talk about 1890s